The scenes that we've seen in Israel over the past 36 hours are truly horrifying. I want to express my absolute solidarity for the people of Israel. Now is not a time for equivocation, and I'm unequivocal. Hamas and the people who support Hamas are fully responsible for this appalling act of terror, for the murder of civilians and for the kidnapping of innocent people, including children. I've just spoken with Prime Minister Netanyahu to assure him of the UK's steadfast support as Israel defends itself against these appalling attacks. We will do everything that we can to help. Terrorism will not prevail. Of course, no one wants to see regional escalation, and both the UK and allies have urged everyone in the region not to use this as an opportunity to incite further violence or hatred. And in the meantime, we will continue to provide Israel with every support that it needs as we stand steadfast with Israel, including its right to self-defense, to ensure that these attacks do not happen, and we will continue to support Israel in that.
Palestinian Sabrim Abu Daqqa weeps as she looks at a photo of her daughter who died during an Israeli airstrike on Gaza on Sunday, the Gaza Strip's deadliest day in 15 years. Abu Daqqa lost 3 children that day, another 2 were wounded, and the fate of her 6th child was unclear on Sunday. I was at home and suddenly we heard a sound and everything fell over our heads, she says. Abu Daqqa learned her children's fate while in the hospital. She said she was pulled out from under the rubble of her home in Khan Yunis, Gaza, and called for her children's names, but heard no response. It took civil defense workers 3 hours to remove her from the rubble, she adds. Abu Daqqa and residents of 3 other homes destroyed in airstrikes said they received no forewarning from Israel, adding that this strike was different from previous rounds when Israeli security forces had called residents to evacuate in advance of an attack. Israel's retaliation came after Palestinian Islamist group Hamas rampaged through Israeli towns on Saturday, killing hundreds of Israelis and escaping with dozens of hostages. The Israeli military, which regularly accuses Hamas of deliberately operating in residential and other civilian buildings, declined to comment.
This is not my first war to witness. This is my 5th war. The war should stop. I don't want to continue feeling this hard feeling. I don't want my brothers to keep carrying me. They are tired of carrying me. Yesterday in the war, if it wasn't for my brothers, I would have been dead yesterday. If this brother and the elder one did not carry me, I would have died. And this is the 5th war for me. And since then, we come to the schools.
Imagine the moment of heavy shelling on houses or next to it, and you wake up in a shock from the heavy shelling. And my brother, a 37-year-old, imagine that you have 7 or 5 children. How would you in a second move your brother with disabilities and your children, all of them crying, with the oldest among them a 10-year-old and the youngest a year and a half? It's a scene that humanity cries for.